Welcome back to the show. I am Matt, literally Nugent. That's my new name. Apparently, I say that a lot. And you know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna call you Kevin King Arthur Sample. I like it the most.
Oh, awesome. I like that nickname too.
Yeah. So that's
Yeah.
um. There. We should make some shirts now. Some bumper stickers. Uh, I want to talk about some important things, the state of the world, fun things, news, but we have something much more important to do. Last week when we talked about condiments, kind of got my cravings going. Like I was thinking about things like we're like talking about relish, and I'm like, when would I use relish? And I'm like, oh yeah, on a Chicago dog, duh. I love I love regional hot dogs. So I generated a little bracket for us here. We're just gonna do a quick little power ranking of
Oh, okay.
hot dogs, Kevin.
Let's
All
do
right,
it.
and we could just knock we could bust through this quick.
Yeah.
All right, let's
Some
just
of
do
these I don't
this.
I don't think I've had. There's a few that I have had, so I might need you to describe it for me. And maybe
Okay.
our viewers should know too.
Um,
S-
Yeah, that makes sense. So Seattle, if anyone's unfamiliar with that, that's traditionally just cream cheese and caramelized onions.
Okay.
Um,
I didn't know that.
Kind of just traditional ballpark dog. I was thinking
Like
of
a
just a
baseball
plain
hot.
old dog with
Yeah.
ketchup, mustard. Yeah.
Right.
Um, Chicago dog is the one they call drag through the garden. It's the one with like sport peppers and tomatoes, celery salt, relish,
Hmm.
all kinds of good stuff. Um, the NYC dog, just like a little sauerkraut and a little yellow mustard.
Hmm.
Um, what else did I tell you? What's that say?
Corn dog.
Oh, corn dog. I forgot I threw that on there just as a wild card. I mean, technically, its core is pure hot dog. Chicago dog. Oh wait, did I just say that? Okay. The coney.
Coney's kind
Um,
of similar to a chili dog. There's a little overlap in some of these, but they
yeah,
I
coney. But actually, no. That's a good point of distinction right there because a coney dog is like made from a meat sauce. It's not chili, and it's
Right,
also
right.
made
Well,
by
it depends on what you call chili, I guess. But I agree.
right.
Coney is a different. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
not.
like
It's not. There's no
you know,
beans in it. It's
there's no Tex-Mex flavors really. It's made by Greek immigrants, so it's really
right.
just almost like a bolognese.
Yeah, I've had a lot
Um,
of those when I lived in Michigan.
and then last on our little bracket here is the Sonoran dog, and I think I spelled that wrong. That might have two N's in it. Apologies to the Sonoran people. But that's a dog that's like wrapped in bacon, topped with some beans,
Yeah,
bunch of other condiments, salsas, and stuff. It's pretty spectacular.
that's gonna
All
be
right,
a
let's
tough one
just.
for me to do Coney and Sonoran.
I think a lot of these are pretty challenging, dude.
Yeah,
Um, I okay for this first one. I think Seattle dog is more unique. Obviously,
yeah.
not just your like off
I've never had
right
one,
off.
but from what you described,
Yeah, I mean caramelized onions and cream cheese.
l-
I'm gonna say
yeah. Let's make it.
that this is
Do you
hard to
want?
write up
Do
synapse.
you just want to do like an initial, like the S for
Yeah,
Seattle?
yeah, and I'll just give ballpark a scratch out.
Okay.
Okay. Now we're doing the
Chicago.
Chicago versus NYC, some of America's great cities
I-
competing here.
What's it? What's a New like? I know I understand a New York dog would be like the ones you get on the street. They're just aren't they just like classic hot dogs? Like they're
Well,
real long, they're foot long ones, or am I thinking of
New
something
York
else?
style would be with sauerkraut and like yellow mustard or like a.
Okay. I think I would do Chicago then, because I have had a Chicago dog.
Yeah, see, I love both of those, so that's a really tough one, but I prefer the Chicago dog. If I'm in a sauerkraut mood, a lot of times I'm gonna get a Reuben.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think that hot dog buns aren't really structurally sound for sauerkraut, but I do love a New York dog. All right, sorry, NYC, you are
This
not.
doesn't reflect you as a city, or it
Yeah.
does.
It directly reflects. All right, corn dog versus chili dog. I think we are going to agree on this one pretty easily, right?
I don't know. I do like chili dogs a lot, but I also like corn dogs a lot. You know what I like even more?
Yeah.
A corn dog with chili on it.
I've never had that, but it sounds like a good idea.
Yeah.
Um, the only reason I would say chili dog more
Hmm.
is because corn dog is a little bit of a sneaky one to put on this power ranking. Um, technically it's right, but I mean, also I'm a big chili person. So can we
Yeah,
knock
yeah.
out corn dog?
Yeah, let's knock out corn dog.
All right, sorry, corn dogs. And now we're doing the Coney versus the Sonoran.
All right.
Um,
This one's a tough one. This is probably the hardest one I'd have to do, but I'm gonna do Sonoran personally
I
because
go with Sonoran too.
yeah, those are so good. That's like one of my favorite hot dogs.
I agree. I mean, Coney versus chili dog. Let's say those were in the same bracket. I would choose chili dog. So it's just superior, you know.
Yeah, and it makes it
Um,
easier too for your bracket because it would have been two C's if we.
all right. Of course, these all look like amoebas. They don't look like letters. All right. So now we're doing Seattle versus Chicago.
For me, only because I've not had a Seattle dog, I'm gonna do Chicago.
I'm 100% agree. I'm
Okay.
going Chicago. Sorry, Seattle. And then we're doing that
Sonoran versus chili.
Sonoran versus chili dog.
Sonoran.
It's tough. It's tough again, but still, I think the Sonoran is more of a unique
It's
bounty of
delicious
flavors.
too. Yeah. It's got two different types of meats. I mean, I guess so does chili dogs and the coney dog,
Yeah.
but the bacon wrapped around a hot dog is so good.
All right, Sonoran is moving on. So we got
Super Bowl.
Chicago, Chicago versus the Sonoran dog. Damn,
Sonoran.
dude, this is tough.
I'm picking
Oh,
the
this is
Sonoran if it was
tough.
me.
Um, the one reason I'm going to say that I want to give it to Sonoran on this
Hmm.
is because the Chicago dog isn't something you can kind of whip together super quickly and easily. There's specialized ingredients on that, like
Yeah.
n- sport peppers are something you have to buy on Amazon. You
Hmm.
could use a banana pepper, but then it's just not the same. Whereas you can get everything you need for a Sonoran dog at any grocery store in this great country. And it's wrapped in bacon, topped with salsa and stuff. All right, winner of the power ranking,
Sonoran.
Sonoran, probably spelled incorrectly. uh, all right, dude. Now that we got that out of the way, I guess we should get into the slightly less important business of the podcast. We got to talk about the news. We're journalists. Have you read any news stories this week?
Uh, Trump won Iowa. That happened
Yeah.
Monday. I know we actually talked about this beforehand, but um, there's a lot of politics stuff. Tim Scott, he endorsed Trump,
Hmm.
which I think some people thought was surprising. I don't know if it means anything.
I don't think it means anything
I don't
either.
think that it does. Yeah. Do you think he's trying
He's
to
a
get
nice
like
he's
a
a
cabinet
nice guy,
position or
but
something? If
of
Trump wasn't,
course
yeah,
they all are.
yeah,
But yeah, he's probably looking for like Ben Carson's old job or something,
right.
or maybe Pete Buttigieg's old job or something. And I think he's probably fit for a role like that. To say that Tim Scott was a presidential material, I'm sorry, bud. That's not him.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on in politics. We're just heating up this election year. Um, the one of the most interesting ones, I put it pretty high up on my list,
Hmm.
is Trump showing his senility a bit. He had a very old man moment. Like
Hmm.
he was doing a campaign and he was confusing Nikki Haley and Nancy Pelosi. And not just like a little verbal typo, like he said it like 5 times in a row. Because he was getting in like kind of chant mode. He's like, that Nikki Pelosi, or he said he got the names right. I got it messed up. I guess I'm not qualified to be president either. And he's like, Nikki Haley, she was, blocking us up on January 6th and in charge of security, Nikki Haley, Nikki Haley, Nikki. He just kept saying it. And it was like, what are you talking about, dude? And
Yeah.
also, there's all this speculation because he has like these weird marks all over his hands. I don't
Hmm.
know if you've seen these
I
pictures.
don't know if I've seen
And
that either. That doesn't sound familiar.
it's in people have been speculating what it was. I think at first they're like he probably fell. It looks like he might have fallen on it and caught himself.
Yeah.
Other people have said I think he just played a lot of golf. Those look like blisters. But then there's a bunch of people that want to make it weird and they're like, no, he has syphilis. Those are like syphilis rashes. it's
Stormy Daniels.
Yeah, it's from her. Yeah, I feel like he's had and maybe he had a good week in Iowa, but ever since then I feel like and also there's a video of him kind of wobbling weirdly, and I was like, I don't know, dude, he's starting to look a bit like our current
Yeah.
president.
That kind of
It's a
sounds
little
like when
weird.
he was mistakenly saying that he beat Obama. Like he said it multiple
Right.
times.
Yeah.
Just having those brain farts like on camera, it's not good. It's not a
I
good look.
think Yeah, I think he's actually starting to show his age a little bit. And I mean, it's a grueling process to run for president, you know?
Right.
And also he's overweight and he lives off McDonald's. Of course he's going to struggle, but it's just that the whole conversation we have about how can Joe Biden make it to the finish line, it's starting to look a little bit like both of these 80-year-old guys don't deserve the job.
Right.
They're not up for it. Um, Another thing, Nikki Haley, there's supposed to be another debate right before the
Right.
New Hampshire caucus, and she canceled it. She kind of like threw a little bit of a temper tantrum, which I thought was weird because she said, "I'm not doing it with just Ron." She said, "I'll do it if Trump and Biden are there," which I'm like, wait, why would Biden be there?
Yeah.
Does she know
For
how it
how the
works?
Republican debates work, the primary debates.
Yeah, it's like literally not that she'll be a candidate in September, but that's like when Biden would debate if he is
Yeah.
able to. And also Trump isn't going to do it because Nikki Haley
Right. She
wants him
doesn't.
to.
A third place candidate doesn't have that pull. But
It's
I heard it
so
caused
weird.
ABC and CNN. They canceled their upcoming
Yeah.
debates. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think there was just one more and it was and yeah, it's just not going to happen now.
Yeah.
She's scared of Ron after,
When it was
getting
just.
beat
Yeah.
after calling out all his lies. Um yeah, she's kind of a dummy, dude. I mean, like when she said after the results came in from the Iowa caucus, and she's like, she said, "I can now firmly say it's a two-person race." It's like you're in third. What are you talking about, lady?
Is it because
Um,
was she like looking at some other poll like for the next primary or something? Because I've heard her
I
talking about like Ron DeSantis hasn't been participating in some other states. Maybe it was New Hampshire. I can't
I'm not
remember.
sure. I think she was basically just trying to do one of those political trickery things by just saying something and putting it
Yeah.
out there and just making people believe it because she
Speak
was
it
kind of
into
going with the
existence.
opinion. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
She was just kind of like saying like Ron and I were so close, it was essentially a tie, even though it was like a 3-point spread or something.
Right.
Um, the yeah, the whole all the footage from post Iowa has been pretty fascinating. Like Vivek
Hmm.
going on stage with Trump, kind of doing like a live job interview,
Right.
and sort of bombing. That was a crazy one. Like he did literally the same thing he did in the first debate. He got too overexcited, and it was
Hmm.
a turn off for Trump because he's like, first of all, he's a germaphobe, and Vivek was way up in his business. And
Oh.
also, it was like kind of like it was like an alpha kind of move, But it was
Hmm.
like Trump's not gonna fall for that, dude. He's not gonna respect you for that. And then also, it was very telling when Vivek got off stage, and Trump said, "That was pretty good. It was pretty good." I was like, that means it was pretty bad. Um,
One thing that's interesting about Trump that he's a germaphobe, but when he does shake hands, he always does this thing. You've seen it where he'll like pull you in. Like
yeah,
it's like it is kind
that's
of a
just the
power move, I think.
that's like the
But
presidential thing though, like to do the two hand. You put the other arm up further on their arm.
yeah,
Bill Clinton really did a very big embrace kind of like thing like that.
yeah.
Um, the other side, I saw that John Kerry stepped down from his position in the Biden administration. He was the climate czar.
Mhm.
And now he's the new climate surrogate for the Biden campaign. I don't understand why they're doing this. They did, with Gavin Newsom. He's the new
Yeah,
surrogate for Biden. Literally, that just means like a stand-in. That's like kind of like the
right.
definition of it. It's such an odd choice of words because it's so on the nose of what they're doing. He's not able to go out and speak on the climate, so we're gonna have a little shuffle in the administration. Have the OG flip flopper go out there and tell people this is what Joe Biden thinks about the climate.
Right.
Um, he's also getting so much criticism right now because he's uh, flying around in the Heinz jet or the Hunts. Is it wait Heinz or Hunts? I forget now. The
Uh,
ketchup jet.
is it probably Heinz, right?
I think it's Heinz. Yeah,
I'm
I
not very
think it
confident in
is.
that.
I can't remember anymore, but yeah, he's flying around in that private jet on the ketchup money, and people are like, that's not very climate friendly.
Yeah,
Private jets
he
are
needs to
really
sail on a
bad.
ship, like Greta Thunberg or whatever. That was her thing, right?
Yeah. Um, I don't know, dude. I'm talking a lot. What else have you read this week, or you want to talk about? I have some space stuff we can get into.
Yeah,
I feel like
I don't really I didn't really have much for politics. But yeah, well, besides space news, there was that cloning breakthrough that China had. Did you hear about that?
I didn't.
It might be somewhat recent, but I guess a couple years ago, China they kept this like under wraps. It was just released like a few days ago, but they successfully like cloned a monkey, which I guess is really hard to clone a primate.
Mm,
Um, they usually die shortly after, but one thing they did differently, instead of like how Dolly was cloned, where they use like an adult cell to use for cloning, they used a
mm,
fetal cell. Apparently, and it makes sense, right? If you have something that an adult cell, there's probably more damage to the DNA. But if they use a fetal cell, apparently it's the monkeys survived over the last couple of years.
mm.
Um, so it's kind of a breakthrough in cloning.
Wow, that's kind of scary though.
Yeah, it is scary. But if you ever want to
I
copy yourself, it's too you have to do it. You have to make that decision when you're not able to make that decision.
dude, I was it just kind of occurred to me like when you brought up Dolly the sheep.
Hmm.
What was that was probably like 30 years ago, right? That was a
Yeah,
long time ago. Didn't they name it Dolly after Dolly Parton?
that's a good. I don't know.
I think they did because I think
She was
there was
probably huge
something to
then,
do
right?
with. No, I think it's even more ridiculous. If I'm remembering this correctly, I think they used like breast tissue for the sample. So
Oh,
it was kind of like a joke about busty Dolly Parton, which is weird
that
for
is
a
very
huge
strange.
scientific breakthrough to like make a kind of crass boob joke. But I'm pretty sure that's why she was called Dolly.
Wow.
Um, I don't know. We might have to fact check that. I'm not sure. I
Yeah.
might have just done some fake news. Um,
Dolly survived
I
like a little bit. I don't think it survived long, but it
I'm not
wasn't.
sure how long.
Yeah. But apparently, primates, it's much more challenging to clone, I guess, because they've been like testing cloning monkeys for a while, I think, and they usually
Yeah.
die after like a few hours or a few days.
I feel like we're gonna get dangerously close to Planet of the Apes kind of scenario with this,
Yeah, maybe.
or just Chinese billionaires trying to like copy themselves.
Yeah.
Freaks me out, dude. I don't like that. Um, the I did just think of one quick little thing I should have said before. Um, so we've talked about the State of the Union that's coming up,
Mm.
and now it's going to be a really big deal. Here's something kind of interesting. It was delayed by a month, and I'm wondering why. I don't know. Like, it can't be a
When
scheduling.
is it scheduled for now?
March 7th. It was going to
March.
be
Okay.
February 7th, but they pushed it back a month, and I don't
Yeah.
know exactly what the strategy in that is. I think Speaker Mike Johnson might be doing that because it's another month of cognitive decline. It's kind of like a weird
Oh,
tactic in that way. But I
that's
feel like the Biden White House wouldn't want that. I feel like they would want to move it up quicker. Like Trump did his in the beginning, like first week of the year. He did
mhm.
like January State of the Unions. I feel like they just want to get it out of the way.
Yeah.
But so I don't know what the reasoning is on that, but I kind of went conspiratorial, thinking like the Republicans are just like, dude, if we can make the push this thing back as far as possible, he's just gonna be more out of it, which is
Right.
pretty mean. But I see that as like kind of like a
Strategic. Yeah.
strategic move. That was the only other thing I had that was political. I do want to talk a little bit about space because the Japan's moon sniper um
Slim,
went up
the
this
rover.
week. Well, from what I heard, it like lost power already, right?
Yeah, they landed. They became the fifth country to land something on the moon.
Mhm.
Um,
Right, but they had the same thing happen as India. They got it there, and then it just sort of died
yeah,
like
apparently it's some
immediately.
solar battery issue. I was reading about that, but
It's strange. Why do you think so many people are having a hard time on the moon? We're all kind of failing lately. Like
yeah,
Russia just straight crashed into it. We just delayed our Artemis moon mission by 2.5 years. It seems like have we overcomplicated space and the moon? Why is every country sort of struggling on the moon right now?
Well, I think it's weird that I guess we don't, maybe if we sent more rovers and stuff that's more recent to the moon. I don't
Hmm.
think we have though, right? I think we're kind of more interested in exploring
Mars, I
asteroids and
think.
Mars and yeah, different
Yeah.
moons and stuff. But I don't know. It makes it look like uh, I could see some conspiracies, being
Right.
formed
Like, why
because of
can't we
this.
do what we did 55 years ago?
Yeah,
Why can't any country do it, you know?
yeah.
And why do we keep,
It is crazy how far away the moon is, even though it looks so big. Like
yeah,
it's when you look at it like on a scale, like it's nothing like textbooks. It's like crazy far. Like they'd be really
yeah.
small on the textbook and it would go off the page. But
Wow.
but yeah, it's even with that though, we're landing stuff on asteroids. Why? I know
Right.
humans are different, but I don't, maybe it just means that our space program's a lot better than these other countries, right?
USA, dude. Yeah, I don't know. It's just strange. I see like all these people just having such a hard time, and I'm like, someone's gonna figure it out. And I feel like Elon would be a good candidate to try and be like, all right, well, I can do this. But he's focusing on bigger things first,
Yeah.
which doesn't make sense. Baby steps, Elon. Um, but I don't know, it's interesting. And also, I don't know if you saw Ingenuity. That the Ingenuity helicopter was only supposed to fly around, do 5 flights on Mars.
Uh-huh.
Um, and it did 72 flights. And then a couple days ago, it lost communication while they were landing it. But then I read this morning that they regained communication, so it might still be working, which is
Oh,
crazy.
yeah. So
Because
they were
I wrote a little like RIP Ingenuity section for this,
right.
talking about its achievements, and then I saw this update that it was like it's maybe going to do 73 flights. I'm like, that's
Nice.
so impressive,
Yeah.
especially when you compare it to our struggles with the moon.
Right.
We're flying little drones around, well, one little drone around Mars.
And I think
Yeah, I don't,
Voyager is still having issues. Speaking of, isn't Voyager 1 still having problems, I think?
I don't know.
I think
I
it
don't
is.
know.
I don't think they've ever, I think it's still um, sending back like garbage, uh, nonsensical like telemetry stuff. So
Is it okay?
Voyager,
I thought that this sorted out like months ago. I
well,
guess I never followed
that was
up.
the first time. So they had that first time that we talked about it, and then they fixed it, and then
Right.
more recently they had it happen again, and I don't think it's been
Okay.
fixed yet. Um, I could be wrong. Let us know in the comments if I'm wrong.
Yeah, also tell us how to spell Sonoran, and also tell us if they really named Dolly the lamb after Dolly Parton's breast joke. Yeah, check us. Do like community notes. That's what they do on X.
Yeah,
Um, I don't know what else you want to talk about, man? I have a couple other little things planned.
I think that's all. I don't really have anything else.
All
What
right,
else
I'm
you
gonna
got?
pull up my screen here, and we're gonna look at some pictures of rocks,
All
and then we're
right.
gonna try and guess. I mean, I know the answers, so
It,
it's not totally, but still, it'll be an interesting discussion because rocks are pretty fascinating. Like when you just look at these, you're like, how did that form the way it did? And also, is that Earth or Mars or
mhm.
somewhere else? No, it's not. I was gonna like seem like there might be other one. No, it's just Earth or Mars. It's kind of like GeoGuessr, but we're doing Rock Guesser,
Right.
and I'll turn on the screen now.
This is a real treat. We got two games.
Oh, dude, let's do a third one. Let's keep it going. Let's just turn this into a game show, bro.
Let's change the channel to the game
Okay.
show, bro.
All right. Here we go. You also, if you're satisfied with the size of these, to see the detail. Where do you think this is, and what do you think is going on here? There's a lot of interesting detail.
Huh. So this kind of looks like tire marks. This is a rock though.
This is a rock. This is all rock. See these spikes though that come out like
Yeah.
this? So this has
Hmm.
been called like Dragon Rock or Fence Rock, and it's naturally occurring, but it definitely looks like something happened here. What do you think this is, and where do you think it is? Also, I don't think is it still working on the stream?
Yeah, it is. I can still see the
Okay.
image. Yep.
It's not shown on my side, so I wasn't sure. Okay.
I'm gonna say
Let's
I'm gonna say it's Mars. Um,
You are correct. This is Mars.
Okay. That was a lucky guess because honestly, I could have gone either way for.
It is so odd though, like those structures in the rock, like
Yeah. I
you can't quite make sense of those. All right, let's go to the next one.
those are
This is
shadows
called,
too, right? That
yeah,
yeah.
they're all pointing up in this direction and the light is coming across that way. This next one is called the femur rock. Okay.
Hmm. Okay.
It's a rock, but where
It's not a bone.
is it? It's not a bone, but it was believed to be a big giant femur bone, but it's not.
All right. So I want to say Earth, but I think you're trying to throw a wrench in this, try to trip me up. I'm gonna say Mars again.
You're correct. You're correct. You're good at this, man. All right, this next one, I don't remember exactly what it's called, but these are just these odd stalk-like structures that are made of rocks.
Whoa.
Um, very unusual. Also, the way these were formed is kind of a mystery. They sort of like have resemble cypress knees.
All right. Um, I'm gonna guess Earth.
Also Mars.
Oh wow.
All right, this next
That is so
one,
bizarre.
it's very bizarre. They get weirder, dude.
Hmm.
Okay, so this next one is called the spoon rock, and it's circled because it is kind. You need to see it's the floating spoon, or like a not like a ladle, but like a floating wooden spoon.
Oh, could you
So you
enhance
see it.
this image for me?
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely.
Enhancing, enhancing.
Enhance, enhance, like a forensics expert. Yeah. So is that better?
Oh yeah, much better.
So as you can see, it's I guess
I can see it's
it's
floating in air.
a,
This
it's
looks
a it's
alien.
attached. It's attached right here.
Okay,
It's just a long thing, and then it has this little scoop, and that's the shadow below it. But it does kind of look like a floating spoon.
this
Um,
looks alienish as shit. I'm gonna say Mars.
it is Mars. Yeah,
Okay,
that's a weird one. Like,
that is
however that was
super weird.
formed,
Yeah.
that's just such an. It looks like an illusion. Okay, the next one, super interesting.
All right, I think I may have seen this image before, and I think it was Mars. Is that right?
It is Mars,
Okay, but this
but
is
it's
weird. Yeah.
it's so weird because if you think of erosion and how where it's placed and how
Hmm.
it's smooth on this like underside, water ran below that, right?
Yeah.
But also these it's hard to tell the perspective here exactly, but it does seem like the water doesn't run through these parts of the rocks or these. It almost like this probably was like replaced. Like it was like hit by a crater, boom, little pieces tumble. It
Yeah.
does kind of look a bit like a rear view mirror
What's
or
the name of this
maybe
picture? Does it have a name?
um,
Like, is
it
it
doesn't
like
really have a name. It's
a
it's
goose rock?
I've heard people call it the golf club, and
Okay.
I think it looks more like a rear view mirror. Like it looks just like the Mini Cooper
Yeah,
rear
I was
view
actually more
mirrors.
thinking the body of a goose and then a goose neck. And maybe
Yeah,
this is too because I had to replace a kitchen faucet over the weekend,
yeah,
and I bought a gooseneck one. So that's where that.
or a bowling pin, a little bowling
Yeah, I could
pinish,
see a
maybe
bowling
a
pin.
Martian bowling pin.
Could be a helicopter, the body of a helicopter if it had blades on the
Oh
top.
yeah, turn it up
Yeah,
to interesting. Maybe that's like a fossil of an old Ingenuity that
yeah.
crashed and was encrusted
I wonder if a
in
psychiatrist
Martian.
ever gives like these examples and be like, "What do you see when you look at this?"
That's a really weird looking rock, though.
That is
That's
very
Mars.
strange.
Okay, here, this one. All right, I'm gonna have to zoom in. This is one where it's just a very odd boulder on top of a boulder.
All right,
Like,
this
how
looks,
the heck that
yeah,
get up there?
I think this might look too strange for Mars, even though Mars has some strange stuff. I'm gonna say Earth.
This is Mars.
Really?
Yeah. So this is again one of those things that must have just bounced up there, or it was a part of a bigger thing that eroded, and that's all that's left. Who knows? But it's very strange that rocks can just like naturally occur on top of each other in this way. Okay, next one. I think this is the donut.
That's an alien toilet lid.
It's like a Martian bidet.
I'm gonna say Mars.
Yeah, it is. Okay, here's a good one.
Have any of these been
That's
Earth?
all these have been Mars,
Okay, just
except for this one possibly. This is some coral. It appears to look like coral.
I think you're trying to
Yeah.
trip me up. I'm gonna say Mars. But
It
this
is
looks
Mars.
that is
Yeah.
so crazy.
It looks just like a coral reef structure in like a desert, but yeah, the Martian desert.
What
Okay.
did the
Oh,
experts
this
say?
is
Do you know? Maybe they don't have an opinion. They're like, we don't know.
yeah. None of these have really a solid opinion. They
Yeah,
always just talk about erosion and stuff. All right.
yeah.
This is split rock.
Okay, this is kind of weird. The bottom of it, how it's
It's also the gap in the middle is just perfect. Like get the perfect split, and then it's still supported.
yeah. All right, I'm gonna say Mars again.
This one's Earth, and
Ah,
actually, if I did zoom in, there is a little bit of a thing that tells you someone made a like a picture of a camel on it or some kind of a
oh,
horse or something there in the middle. Like there's like a etching
yeah.
in it.
Keep enhancing it.
Um,
Let's get a good look at that thing.
I'm glad you didn't see that because that
Oh,
gives
I did see
away
it.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah, it does look kind of alien though, but it's such a beautiful rock.
yeah. You did a good job editing this. It even the background kind of looks like it could be just Mars.
Yeah. All right, next up,
Okay.
this one. This one I've heard referred to as like the pharaoh or like a profile of a an
Yeah.
African king.
Yeah, this is an interesting one. All right, so all right, I'm gonna use some clues from the last image that was Earth.
Okay.
I see a lot of clouds. I'm gonna
Okay.
say Earth for this.
Good job, dude. You're good at this rock guesser game. Okay. Here we have the elephant.
That's really cool, regardless if it's on Mars or Earth. All right, these clouds really helping me out. I think it's Earth.
It's Earth. The clouds are a really good giveaway on
Yeah.
this. Yeah. What do you think that one is?
It looks like the Mushroom Kingdom.
It does look like a video game.
This is the Nintendo Land. This is Earth. Lots of clouds in the sky.
Yeah, it's got an earthly sky for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's it. So you got all the Earth ones right. Oh, except for
Well,
I think
there's a couple I got wrong for sure.
that
Yeah.
one wrong.
Yeah.
But but yeah,
That was fun.
interesting.
Yeah, that was. Can you go
I
back
thought
to
it,
one of the Mars ones, one of the earlier ones? I just want to
sure.
compare the
Which
sky. I just want to.
Well, that's the thing is most of the Martian ones are looking down,
Yes.
and then you get the ones where it's in the background, but then it's washed out.
Yeah.
Um, like
So that
yeah,
makes sense. So yeah, the few that are showing the sky, and that was my understanding because I know I don't think Mars
right.
has much of an atmosphere.
All right, I'm gonna turn off the screen sharing here. Thought maybe looking at rocks might potentially be boring, but I'm glad that was not
Yeah,
totally boring.
that was fun.
I don't know. Let's play another game, dude.
Let's keep it going.
Actually, we could. We could end the episode on a game. Do you remember the show Whose Line Is It Anyway? It
Mhm.
had that questions only. You could talk in questions only game.
Do I remember that?
We haven't started yet. Don't get sneaky on me. But do you want to play? Let's just do it. Let's do this as the bit and for the outro bit, and
Yeah.
then once one of us loses, that's the end of the
All right, all right.
episode. All right. How do you want to end the episode, Kevin?
How do you think we should end it?
What did you say?
I said